All right, Erica Lorraine Spencer here. It is the morning of Saturday, March 27, 2027. It is currently 7:38 a.m. I am just speaking on podcast in order to provide context and ongoing documentation via podcast as to the video that I just captured, which is demonstrating what the state has been engaged in ceaselessly. And this is related to, as I documented on video last night on the 26th, via video and podcast, the state patrolling via aircraft. And what I was doing last night, I just want to speak to the ongoing criminal conduct and the malice with which the stalking entity acts. While I'm in the room, the state has, since last night, since I captured this video, engaged in what is substantially loud activity creation. Again, this is P.O.C. I'm speaking to what is amplified audible activity. The fact that I hear it in the room is amplification, okay? You're not going to hear also airplanes inside of the hotel room, helicopter activity inside of the hotel room, where the state is flying at the elevations that I'm showing. Where they are at a lower elevation. The state is patrolling directly over while it is engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring. But let me be clear, what I am showing on video, you are looking at what is a distance that is not commensurate with the activity that is heard in the room, because the state is amplifying sound inside of the room within the method of amplification of plane activity, in the same way that it amplifies third-party group stalkers that walk by, that talk as they walk by, that slam their car doors, that honk their horns. That are on the freeway that are inside of the room. The state is amplifying all activity, right? The state is also amplifying plane and helicopter activity. What I want to speak to, because I want to be specific with what the state is engaged in, and the communication of a threat with its criminal conduct that is monitoring, and in concert with the people of the state of California facilitating their ability to monitor. Specifically, the state is engaged in much louder amplification. And so this is literally filling the entirety of the hotel room with substantially loud plane activity, even louder than ordinarily, so louder than what was occurring last night. And this is while the state is aware of the fact that I am inside of the room organizing my documentation about the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department and all of the deputies, the medical workers, including the third parties inside of those facilities, that is the West Valley Detention Center, Central Detention Center, Glen Helen Rehabilitation Center, and the state is doing so while it is aware of what I'm literally documenting. So, for example, as I'm writing down grievance numbers that I documented while kidnapped inside of that venue with regard to the grievances that I filed on the kiosk, or submitted, on the kiosk while kidnapped inside of the venue, the state knows exactly what I'm writing down. This is why, with simultaneity to my writing down these series of grievances numbers, the state begins flying directly over the room via plane and patrolling, meaning not just flying over once, but repeatedly flying over and over and over and over again by helicopter, and doing so in an even louder manner. This is while the state is aware of what I'm doing. Not only is this monitoring conduct, this is that which you are doing so in with real-time knowledge, to what I am doing inside of the room, all right? So this is the state that would rather me get up and get a video of them stalking via helicopter than for me to continue writing down the documentation about the ongoing kidnapping and what is going to result in the federal prosecution and imprisonment of San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, who engaged in kidnapping me on more than one occasion. This is documentation of the pattern of conduct of engaging in kidnapping by the state of California, and this is engaged in by the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. And that is what that criminal conduct is tantamount to. When you would fly a helicopter around, which is engagement in the criminal pattern of conduct of federal group stalking and monitoring, while you are aware of the fact that I am preparing to publish that documentation. I've already published it. It's already on YouTube. It's already on the Google Share Drive. I am literally writing down more names, writing down more detailed documentation to publish. The entity that engages in flying around loudly in a helicopter and knows that I'm documenting it would prefer for me to get up and capture video of that than for me to continue writing down this additional documentation that I'm going to publish. That's what that detrimental conduct, because it is only harmful to the entity, and it's harmful to the people of the state of California that are monitoring me to that criminal conduct. And that is the futile, criminal activity of the entity. You're literally engaging in one crime while you're monitoring me as I'm preparing and organizing your criminal activity that you've already engaged in. And this is what the state was engaged in last night. So this is the significance of what I'm speaking to right now, what I'm capturing on video. This is that which is continuous conduct. I am speaking to what is engagement in a more louder, the same conduct, even so much louder. The state's turning up the volume even more of the plane activity and the helicopter activity, and this was occurring overnight as I was up 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. And so I wanted to get up right now because it's about 7 right now. So as I'm laying down, the state engaging and repeatedly flying over the room. You see the plane as I captured on video at around 7:35, I believe, in the morning, and the state is flying over. I step out of my room, understand this is seconds. So the state is engaging in that same conduct, amplifying the sound of plane activity at an exceptionally louder volume, and I want to show how they are at the same elevation, flying in relevant, they're engaging in the same conduct. The state has done nothing other than turn the volume up even louder, okay? Which is what the state is doing, period, because you're not going to hear, you can see the distance of the planes, just like you saw last night, just as I have shown over the history of documentation that I've already published about the state stalking by aircraft. You are not going to hear that activity, first of all, inside of the hotel room. And this is that which is a distance, as you see in the video. I'm not waiting 5 and 10 minutes to step outside, obviously. I am aware of the fact that a plane is flying over because I'm obviously hearing plane activity. I'm not a psychic, okay? And I don't have a video camera parked outside of the room. I'm inside of the room. The state is amplifying plane activity, and what I'm publishing documentation of, this is evidence of, the state is amplifying it even louder. So the state is engaging in, that's a communication of a threat while you're monitoring, and you are engaging in a more quote unquote, I'll describe it as more a hyperbolic method, turning that volume up even louder while I am documenting that criminal conduct. This is a communication of a threat by the government that is monitoring one who is aware of it. This is monitoring conduct. This is a direct threat to my life by the government. The government is surrounding me here at Economy Inn. They are not present in their individual capacity. Yes, at 7 a.m. in the morning, 24 hours a day, they are maintaining presence outside this room and around this room and creating activity in concert with the entity that is patrolling via aircraft and making even louder audible activity in the method of plane and helicopter activity. And this is what the state has been engaged in since I specifically published and documented via podcast and video the state flying over by planes. So I just want to be clear. I'm capturing another video because what I want to make sure that I stress is how the state has been engaged in all night long, the ongoing loud, amplified, even louder of plane activity inside of the room, which is equally impossible audible activity. You are necessarily amplifying that activity inside of the room, first of all, but I want to speak to the state amplifying it even louder. This is the engagement in the elements of monitoring. All right, this is creating plane activity, audible activity while you are stalking via aircraft that is present in relevant position, creating audible activity while its light source is present. All right, this is P.O.C. And this is facilitation of that P.O.C. such that the people of the state of California can monitor me as well. This is all manner of a threat. And this is while overnight the state engaged in more helicopter activity. And I want to be clear on that. The state doing so with ongoing knowledge of my documentation. This is all relevant to federal prosecution, and the state turning up that volume even louder. This is that which is under ordinary circumstances where you are in any neighborhood. This is what the state was doing over a senior community at Woodside Senior Apartments. You know why you had such loud plane activity? Because they were all monitoring. Because you will not have ordinarily, that is that which would be outlawed by statute, flying airplanes and helicopters and disturbing the ability to have quiet enjoyment in an apartment complex, especially where you have senior citizens. All of them were monitoring, and that's why it was no disturbance whatsoever, and this is why it was daily conduct. It is the same thing here. The state engaging in that same conduct everywhere that I go, the same conduct inside of this private space. And this is extraordinarily loud. It is louder than the television that I'm sitting in front of. It is filling up the room, and the state engaging in this malicious conduct of doing so intentionally. I want to be clear on that. And this is what I captured on video. And so I did want to go ahead and capture that, which I've already established the state is engaged in, just showing how, because this is documentation of what the state is engaged in on a continuous basis. This is the malice with which it engages in that criminal conduct. I want to be clear, as the state is engaged in intentionally turning up the volume of its plane and helicopter activity. This morning, for example, as I get up to record video of the plane activity after I engaged in this conduct all night long. I just captured a video because I'm providing conduct of what the state has been doing, what the state is always doing, stalking, right? Monitoring. But let me be clear, just like the group stalkers that know that I'm getting up to step out of my room as they start moving all around in the parking lot and acting like they're doing something else, all they're doing is monitoring, the state immediately turning down the volume of that plane activity as I get up out of the bed and start recording as I'm walking out of the room, which you'll see, and I capture this video of the plane that is far beyond what is going to be commensurate with the exceptionally loud plane activity inside of the room. Okay, this is the same psychopath working with the people of the state of California. This is demonic activity, and that is entirely twisted and demented conduct that they're engaged in, and doing so by plane and helicopter. And the moment that I get up to record it on video, immediately this loud plane activity is immediately decreased in volume. And again, you do not hear plane activity as I step outside of the room, but this is in direct conflict with what the state is engaged in repeatedly while I'm not holding my phone, while it thinks that it is not being documented. This is already established. The state that is stalking with a fake sun and molesting with light, while third-party group stalkers are in the path, you have light, what is occurring out of nowhere, all right? I have no reason to make it up, and that is the coward, and that's the psychopath and the sex offending group stalker that I'm documenting. And that's what is the significance of what I'm documenting, not just the fact that I've already shown the state of stalking. I want to be clear, this is malicious conduct, filling the space and turning up the volume even louder on this plane and helicopter activity that it engaged in repeating all night long. And it is early in the morning, 7:34. So the P.O.C, like I stated, it's not just monitoring. You are engaged in sexual violence. You're engaged in corporate invasion of privacy. You're engaged in monitoring in a private space, and you're engaged in harassment while you are monitoring. This is all federal crimes that are inherent to monitoring. All right. They're engaged in all of that at the same time. You're not just a group stalker. You're the government that's engaged in a plethora of crimes that are inherent to monitoring with communication devices in concert with the people. And I want to be clear that this is a coward. All right. Turning down the volume of this activity the moment, because based on the nature of that crime, is monitoring me, knows that I'm getting up out of my bed, that I'm grabbing my phone, that I'm going to capture more video of its criminal conduct. Not that I need it. I don't need it. I've already established it. But this is going toward what is understanding the criminal tactics of what is a coward. It is a coward, all right? Sitting around in their emergency vehicles, stopping their sirens the moment that they think I'm going to turn on my podcast. It is pathetic, all right? But it is the government, and this is what must be understood about this psychopath that is engaged in what is demonic group conduct, monitoring with communication devices. And so that exceptionally loud plane volume that is heard, the state was doing the same thing with helicopter activity, and it immediately is decreased in volume the moment that I get up and start capturing video. And you are seeing the distance of that plane. That is that which you're not going to hear at all inside of the room, but it is also that which is targeted as to its location. The state is stalking via aircraft. The state is not going anywhere. It's literally flying in circles over me, remaining stationary over me in the room, flying over as I've shown in video. As soon as I step outside to document a third-party psychopath group stalker, the state flies directly over my head because they're already there. As soon as I step outside, group stalkers walking past, driving past, or getting out of there, they're already there. They're stalking, all right? In the same way that they're in their rooms monitoring behind the closed door and creating audible activity like the psychopaths that they are. This is demonic conduct, entirely twisted, and they are cowards as well. I want to be clear on that. All right, using planes and helicopters and turning up the volume. The moment I get up to capture video of that this morning, just want to reiterate, that volume immediately is decreased, all right? That is the entity that I'm documenting. And this is speaking to that same despicable malice, which which colors everything that I'm documenting. It is in no way demonstrating that the state's not engaging in everything that I'm describing. I've already established what the state is engaged in, and it is continuous, and you're speaking to that sort of conduct, all right? In no way avoiding prosecution or exposure. I'm speaking to what is none other than a failed attempt, an abysmal fail to conceal what it's engaged in. It's not concealed anymore. All right. And this is Economy in 2301 South Euclid Avenue. I'm going to publish that video as well. It is currently 7:52 a.m. and that is P.O.C. All right. This is speaking to the video that I did capture at 8:11 a.m., which was the state creating audible activity while it remains present. Again, the state's not going anywhere in these airplanes. It is merely engaging in repeated activity creation via aircraft. It is as it is engaged in surveillance. This is keeping me surrounded at all times, including by aircraft. So the state's not flying to any destination. It is engaged in repeated patrolling conduct, amplifying that activity, and that is the stalking. It's remaining here. All right. So I captured another video at 8:11. And what you're going to want to pay attention to, as I open the door, you'll see what is directed light inside of the room. As I open the door, the state is aiming light inside of the room, and you see it on the wall as I'm opening up the door. You're going to pay attention to what is the state as I'm pointing out the light activity. This is the environment that you're paying attention to while the state is engaging in failing at trying to contradict what I am documenting as to its criminal conduct, which is none other than engagement in the criminal pattern of conduct of activity creation while it is directing light, while it is maintaining stalking presence. Failing at trying to contradict what is the behavioral pattern. It's not contradicting anything. It is engaging in the pattern of conduct, first of all. But I want to demonstrate what you're looking at in the video. On the wall, the east wall, by the way, this is an absolutely impossible light activity. While you are also looking at the environment, what you see is shade under the walkway, okay? So there is no quote-unquote sunlight aiming, and there never is at any time of day, okay? This is how the building is structured. So it's not going to be directed, bright, concentrated light like you see on the wall as I open the door in conflict with what is shade. There is no quote-unquote sunlight that's on the walkway on the ground. And so what you see is directed light on the east wall. Not only is this not occurring because of the structure of the building, by the way, and the position of the sun, and the position of what is the fake sun. The actual sun is not over 2301 South Euclid Avenue. The state's fake sun is over 2301 South Euclid Avenue. And even at this time of day, you are looking at the light activity. What I'm showing, the state's fake sun at this time at 8:11 a.m. is on the east side of my room 227. Understand the directed light, which is concentrated light that you see on the east wall, is on the same side as the state's fake sun is outside above the structure. The state is directing light inside of this room. You can see that in the video at 8:11 a.m. Second thing that you're going to want to pay attention to is the rest of the environment. You're seeing this light on the wall. Where else are you seeing light, though? This is in conflict with the light activity that you see, the light that is present on the surfaces around. This is literally the state aiming light onto the surface inside of the room around me. That's the stalking with light conduct as I open the door, anticipating that, all right? And while they're engaging in directing light, the state is engaging in conduct, flying at low elevation. And at this time, in this video, you can hear the plane activity as I open the door. The state is not engaging in that conduct of immediately stopping that audible activity as I start recording video, which is in no way helpful to the state. It is engaged in the same stalking conduct, patrolling with simultaneity to my activity on the internet, on a communication device. As I am pointing out, the state creates this audible activity as it is captured in relevant position on video. Understand the state was already there. All the state does is create activity noise inside of my room using the method of a plane activity while it is flying past repeatedly. The state's not going anywhere. It is literally, as I have described it before, because this is tantamount to what the state is doing. It's literally just playing a tape of sound of plane activity or helicopter activity while they are repeatedly flying over. And the people of the state of California surround monitoring to that same activity. So the state does, as the psychopath is listening to me, because it's monitoring, listening to me document its criminal conduct, speaking to the malice with which it is engaged in this unprecedented level of criminal conduct that is inherently threatening to an American citizen. As I am aware of it and I'm documenting it, this is criminal conduct, and speaking to that threat while you are monitoring, the state engages in continuing that audible activity as I open the door while it is at substantially the same position in the sky. You're not going to hear that while you are inside of the hotel room, okay? It's amplified audible activity while the state is in relevant position. The state goes out of its way to continue that audible activity while it is directly above an alignment in the airspace above the room. This is the same exact conduct. This is another fail while it is trying to contradict what it is listening to me document about its criminal conduct. And let me be clear, you are looking at the environment, first of all, the state is monitoring. You are looking at what is engagement in the same exact pattern of conduct. That is no different while the state continues that creation of audible activity, which is monitoring. It is engaging in the criminal conduct on video, okay? So it's not contradicting anything. It is engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring, but I want to speak to, because this is characterizing, this is coloring the conduct. This is a sick system. And this is the government that is engaged in that. And this is pathetic, okay? So you're talking about what is the aim? Okay, the pathetic aim is trying to contradict, which it cannot, what I've documented. The state engages in amplifying activity. As I open the door, you don't hear plane activity, and you are also looking at the distance, despite the fact that it is exceptionally loud activity, audible activity in the room. But yet you step outside, you see the distance and the elevation of the plane. You're not going to hear this activity inside of the room. The state is amplifying it, and necessarily so. So in this video at 8:11 a.m., the state refrains from stopping the audible activity as I start recording. So you are engaging in ongoing continuous activity creation as I'm capturing it on video and opening the door. That is engagement in the criminal elements monitoring. That is not conflicting with what the state engaged in moments earlier and what the state has continuously engaged in. That is ongoing evidence of what I am showing is the color of the conduct of this psychopath that I'm documenting, engaging in entirely demented and malicious conduct. The state is at an elevation directly above the room, amplifying that audible activity as I open the door, amplifying what is the sound of traffic. You can hear it exceptionally loud. This is also that which is turned up in volume as I'm capturing it on video, which is monitoring conduct under what is the fake sun on the east side of this room, while the state is directing light inside of the depths of this room on the east wall, while it is shade that is surrounding. So even the immediate environment is in conflict with the light activity that the state is creating inside of the room with its engineered light, while it is amplifying activity. And then on top of that, you're speaking to what is the color, the context, the pathetic aim, which is a threat. Okay, I am calling it pathetic because all you have to do is strip down and pay attention to the environment and pay attention to what is a prolonged pattern of conduct that I am fully familiarized with. And so this is why I'm breaking it down. It's pathetic because the pattern remains, and you are engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring. And so in your pathetic effort to try to contradict what I'm narrating about the criminal conduct as you continuously engage in it is not contradicting anything. You're engaging in the criminal system. And it's also while the environment is speaking to what is engagement in the ongoing criminal system, and that is speaking to what is malice. Understand this is demonic. All right. I want to be clear. This is entirely satanic. And this is an entity that is fully exposed in what it is engaged in. And I am remedializing it to what is that which shall be a matter of federal prosecution. It is pathetic, and it is not in any way impervious to being exposed like it has been and documented and published on the World Wide Web, which shall be followed by a very intense prosecution, because as pathetic as it is, this is my goal to not only show that a government has no business engaging in this, and this is a government, and understand the people of the state of California represent the government. So they are in the shoes of the government. That is the government that is monitoring while the state is engaging in amplifying this plane activity inside of the room, which is ongoing evidence of stalking in that incredible manner, stalking with light while what is the state's engineered light is in the room, while it is amplified activity while you're flying over the room, which is pursuant to a prolonged documented pattern of conduct everywhere that I go, and based on what a fail at trying to contradict what I'm documenting about its criminal, about the about the malice with which the entity is monitoring me. It is still monitoring. Let me be clear on that. But anyway, I just want to point that out. The state is seen flying at substantially the same elevation. The state is engaged in amplifying, turning up and turning down the volume of that activity while it is maintaining stalking presence. It's not going anywhere. And this activity is created with simultaneity to my activity on my website, as I'm pointing out in the video, as I'm uploading information on my website, The Pattern of Conduct, which is both the podcast and video documentation and images that I am sharing. The state engages in creating that audible activity. And then in doing so, it's not refraining from stopping or that audible activity creation as I open the door. So you continue that audible activity while I open the door, which is engagement in the same element. And while you are flying over, which is crossing path in relevant position, that's group stalking, while your light source is aimed inside of the room, directed light, that's a hallmark, while your fake sun is on the left side, which is supposed to be east, while it remains all day long over this parking lot, which is not the sun at all, okay? And the state's directed light, as I've shown and published all over, this is P.O.C, and I just want to be clear about the futility with which this entity is acting. But this is a threat, all right? Government does not get to engage in this and not suffer for that severely. And the people of the state of California, representing the government, suffer severely for that. My ability to break it down as to the futility with which it's engaging, and you cannot contradict the pattern of conduct. You are not getting out of the pattern of conduct. You are engaging in malice as you are continuously engaged in that pattern of conduct. That's all it is. The pattern of conduct is called that because it is a pattern, hence a repeated engagement in behavior. Two or more occurrences isn't a pattern. We've got hundreds and hundreds of the same exact conduct at a different type of venue with a different face, perhaps a different third party's plane or a different third party's face or address or whatever, but it is the exact same conduct, all right? It's P.O.C, and so that's the significance of what I captured on video, and that's what you're going to pay attention to, but I also want to provide context because this is ongoing evidence of what is the same conduct that I just documented in my previous podcast snippet, the video that I captured at around 7:30, the malice with which the state is engaging in, turning up and down the volume as it made it even louder, and then as I pick up my phone to document video, that volume immediately turning down as I open the door. Okay, so in this video, the state doesn't turn down the volume. It is in no less engagement in the criminal elements is what I want to speak to. And you're also looking at the environment, which is the ongoing documentation of criminal monitoring with communication devices, while the psychopaths are surrounding on the property and around the property in relevant position. It's monitoring. Period. All right. But this is P.O.C. And understand that's what demonic activity is. It's malicious. It is entirely demented, seeking to appear outwardly as though it is none other than everyday, innocuous, unassumed conduct, but it is not. And this is how demonic activity appears on the outside. The psychopaths I have been exposed to for a prolonged period. And so this is what my goal is, to show how, in fact, they are psychopaths because they are aware of what they're doing. They even know the fact that it's being documented. And this is that which they are engaging in, despite that there is no mask anymore. There is no guise. There is no form, if you will. It is out in the open, and that's a psychopath. And how do I know? I know this because I am exposed to that which was this conduct by psychopaths before I was aware that I was being monitored, and I see the conduct as they are aware of the fact that I am documenting, and I'm aware that I'm being monitored. So this is psychopath, all right? This is a psychopath acting as a group, which is inspired by that which is of the demonic. And I have seen this in every type of venue that you can fathom, including the organization identifying itself as a church. It is not the true church. This is satanic conduct, and this is my insight as to what a psychopath is and how it conducts itself, okay? That is P.O.C. It is currently 9:09 a.m. All right. right, it is Saturday, March 27th, 2021. It's currently 4:36 p.m. This is the podcast component as to my ongoing documentation of federal group stalking and monitoring as I remain at third-party facilitating venue Economy Inn, located at 2301 South Euclid Avenue. And what I captured on video is that which is an example of the ongoing sexual violence that the state of California is engaged in. And what I captured is that which is monitoring inside of the private space, that private space being the restroom, as I am physically indisposed in what is a private space, engaged in what is a personal activity, a private activity. This is for purposes of outlining the fact that the state of California is a sex offender and is facilitating that sexual violence inherent to monitoring with communication devices, inherent to surveillance 24 hours a day in concert with the people of the state, under its light source, under its directed light, which is surrounding on the surfaces, under circumstances of its amplified audible activity. And so what I capture on video is the personnel of Economy Inn, that one that has identified himself as an employee here on the first floor under the state's fake sun, directed light inside of the room. Mind you, the video that I captured this morning at 8:11, where the directed light is on the east wall, where the state's fake sun is on the east side of this building, the state's fake sun remains over the same parking lot. There's directed light underneath the structure of the building onto the walkway. Understand you are looking at directed light on that same east wall, which is equally impossible to occur. You look at the light that is on the walkway. There is light that is randomly appearing onto the wall as I open the door. That is not sunlight. That is not the sun over the venue. That is not sunlight that is on the walkway underneath the structure, which is horizontally bending underneath a physical structure that is designed, that is going to result in shade on that walkway. Okay, all of this is what you're looking at. You're analyzing the environment where what is audible activity being created through the employee, that's facilitation of monitoring. That is directly engagement in the criminal elements of monitoring. That is facilitation by a third party representing what is Economy Inn, and they are doing so while they are engaged in what is sexually violent conduct, monitoring in a private space. As I step outside, understand they are also engaged in sexual violence as the state is molesting me with light as I step outside for the purpose, they're touching for the purpose of monitoring me, and they're doing so while they are surrounding me, the housekeeper engaging in loitering in relevant position in the room directly adjacent to this room in 228. This is impossible light activity inside of that room where she's just sitting on the cabinet dresser, in alignment to me as I'm inside of 227 on a communication device, and I'm showing this inside of, on the video, and I want to be clear with regard to the simultaneity with which they are creating the activity. So I want to go back. Not only does this group stalker who I've identified, these are the same parties engaged in kidnapping me. And so understand that this is the representation of the government. They are monitoring on behalf of the government. This is the government that is sitting in the room next to you, monitoring you. This is the government that is molesting you with light, aiming it into your room where you are documenting it and aware of the fact that you're being monitored. This is all a manner of a communication of a threat as well by that same actor, the government. This is the government that is downstairs creating what is noise, all right, and doing so under the form of cleaning out a refrigerator, which is amplified noise inside of the room, creating impact inside of the room, and occurring with simultaneity to as I'm physically undressing inside of the bathroom, which is the behavioral pattern. Pursuant to that same ongoing pattern, they are creating nothing but a method of noise under what is that engineered light and that fake sun. That is P.O.C. Right? And this is also that which is occurring and begins, by the way, as I wake up. They start, so while they're in these same positions, stalking in relevant position outside, facilitating monitoring while I'm inside of the room, what is ongoing amplified music, all right? I have documented this literally everywhere I go. The third-party group stalker in apartment 55 at Woodside Senior Apartments, the same conduct, all right? They'll boom music. They'll create any kind of noise is the point. They're creating audible activity that the state is amplifying. Same thing at Mayfair Inn. I documented the same exact conduct. And this is a place of business where that disruptive conduct is tolerated because they're monitoring me. But understand that they use any excuse where it is not a disturbance, where it is documenting entirely threatening criminal activity activity where I'm using my phone. I'm not blasting music. I am not engaging in any violation of the law, but they are. Understand the double standard that applies there. But nonetheless, the moment that I wake up, this is the first method of noise that is used. That stops. Then you hear what is the ongoing creation of activity through this activity that is outside, directly outside of my room. All of this noise is targeted in the location. It is always surrounding where I am at, all right? And doing so under that environment that you are analyzing and pursuant to the ongoing stalking by the state. This is what is prefacing everything that they're engaged in. It is P.O.C. Any way that they try to color it, they are not merely present talking on the phone. They're not housekeeping. He's not just cleaning off a refrigerator. They're monitoring. And this is how the public entity monitors you. And it is also sexually violent conduct. Economy in, providing ongoing documentation of what is the people of the state of California acting via economy and engaged in sexual violence, pursuant to what is corporate invasion of privacy, the absence of coincidence while they are monitoring, engaging in monitoring conduct, pursuant to that behavioral pattern of as I move around, as I engage in a new activity, and as I have in a private space, which is the restroom, engaged in what is a private activity as I am physically indisposed, creating that amplified audible activity, which is heard, by the way, creating impact in the room and also heard inside of the bathroom. This is exceptionally loud activity for the purpose of monitoring me. Understand the state is flying over by plane and helicopter to that amplified activity. All right. It's literally the exchange. The state flies over creating activity. The state flies over while third parties create activity that the state amplifies. It's the same conduct. All right. It's just another method. That is direct video, direct evidence against economy and against the people of the state and against what is that ongoing criminal conduct demonstrating what is sexual violence. They literally just provided that, which I captured on video. And again, you are looking at the impossibility of this light that is surrounding. And understand the housekeeper that walks out of 228 at the moment that I call them what they are, sex offenders. She's crossing path. She's monitoring again. She's not walking away. She's not withdrawing from the criminal conduct. She's crossing path, and she's doing so with simultaneity to my very vivid description of the criminal conduct in real time. She walks past and engages in crossing path for the purpose of monitoring. They are a group acting together. She walks past the room. Her shadow appears on the inside of the room on the wall. And then I go ahead and provide another visual as I'm holding up my hand to show the shadows, the multiple shadows on the wall that are inside of the depths of the room, on the east wall inside of the room. All right. And this is that which is occurring as she walks past the room. She's crossing path. As she walks down the stairs, understand she's crossing a path. That's what group stalking is. And she's doing so as she is listening to me recite the real-time criminal conduct that she's engaged in. That is not a withdrawal. Recognize everything that they are engaged in is engagement in the continuous act of monitoring. And that's exactly what she's doing. While they're sitting in 228, they're sitting in alignment, monitoring. As she gets up and walks past, one is crossing path while one remains in alignment. And the other one is downstairs in alignment, creating amplified audible activity. The state is amplifying it while he is intentionally creating it and doing so with real-time knowledge of what I'm doing inside of the room in a private space. This hotel room is a private space. The bathroom inside of this hotel is a private space. While, mind you, I am physically indisposed and engaged in what is a personal private activity, maintaining a reasonable expectation of privacy. This is that which sexual violence by a government. All right. This is a whole other level of invasion of privacy. This is a whole other level of being a sex offender. It is the government that's engaged in that and is facilitating that. And that's what the people of the state of California are engaged in. I just provide video of what they are all engaged in. And this is yet another example that economy in is specifically acting pursuant to. It is 4:44 p.m. And that is video to be published. And that is what you are looking at. That's the legal analysis of that. And that is P.O.C.